In the last video, we talked about minimizing text and minimizing images. And I said minimizing images is a little bit more complex. So let's take a look at that in this video. Now, the primary way to change an image size is to change the file format and pick the file format that is the best for the job. And this is actually fairly easy to do with just a few mouse clicks. We have JPEG, GIF, PNG, and SVG. And these are the four main image file formats used on the web. And each have their own specific use cases. So let's go through them and learn how to optimize them. JPEGs over here are usually used for photos, images, and things with many colors, such as photographs. The one downside with JPEG is that they don't really allow for transparency. So what does that mean? Say, for example, you want an image background to be transparent so that the color of the background behind it shines through. Now, with JPEG, you can't really do that. To have a transparent background, you must use something like PNG or GIF, which we'll talk about. So JPEGs for complex images with lots of colors. They also tend to be a little bit big in file size. GIFs? Well, everybody knows GIFs. They often look grainy and oddly colored because you usually limit the number of total colors that you can use in a GIF. It's usually somewhere between 2 to 256. And reducing the color count leads to huge file savings. And that's why they're really, really good for small animations. Everyone knows what a GIF is, and there are more than enough cat GIFs out there on the internet than to watch in a lifetime. PNGs usually limit the number of colors you can use, and they tend to be a lot smaller in size than JPEGs because of that. And they are used a lot around the web for things like logos, since they usually only have a few sets of colors that you need. The cool thing with PNG is that you can add transparency to them, which you cannot do in JPEG, as we said. Finally, SVG is in a completely different category from all the other three file formats that we talked about. They're actually something called vector graphics. And these are files that designers usually work with on Adobe Illustrator or something like Sketch. What you can do with SVG is that you can expand an SVG to several times its original size, and it will be just as sharp and just as clear as the original was. Also, they happen to be incredibly small for what they do, and they're really, really good for things like Retina display or 4K displays. And the cool part is you can also customize them using CSS. But they aren't just perfect. They usually tend to be very simplistic visual things with few colors. Now, there are many more things we can go into with images, and there are a ton of resources online to get familiar with each file type. For example, there are new image formats that have come out recently with really cool sounding names like JPEG 2000, JPEG XR, WebP. They are actually all superior compression and quality characteristics compared to these older JPEGs and PNG counterparts. And encoding your images in these new file formats means they will load faster and consume less cellular data. However, browser support for these new types, it's still not completely there yet. So we're just going to focus on these for now. Now, the main thing you want to get out of this part is that you want to pick the right format of images and then compress them as much as you can without minimizing their quality. I'm going to show you some compression techniques in the next video, so don't worry. All right, I'll leave some resources for you to check out if you really want to learn more about these topics. But for now, let's keep going into the next video. See you in that one. Bye-bye.